In ancient China, a royal guard named Fat is mocked and dismissed for lacking martial arts skills and his obsession with inventing strange, seemingly useless gadgets. He remains in the shadows until the emperor is kidnapped and the kingdom faces grave danger. Then Fat, the least expected hero, rises to the occasion, using his inventions to outsmart enemies and save the day. From Hong Kong legends to Korean cult hits, we've got the craziest films covered. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. The movie opens with Ling Ling Fat, one of the Forbidden City's emperor's guardians, confronting 4 swordsmen hosting a duel on the palace rooftop. Fat is one of the emperor's 4 elite secret agents. While the others are fierce martial arts experts, Fat lacks kung fu skills and is often mocked and overlooked. The swordsmen introduce themselves unprovoked, bragging about their skills, looks, and prowess. Fat bursts into laughter, mocking them for thinking too highly of themselves and calling themselves fine men when they're nothing of the sort. He apprehends them for trespassing, but one of them attempts to bribe him with a kung fu manual titled The Flying Fairy. Fat refuses and threatens them with 10 years in prison. After some back and forth, the men lose patience and fly off, leaving Fat looking foolish and completely unprepared. One day, the 4 guards are summoned to display their abilities before the emperor. The others impress him with powerful, flawless martial arts demonstrations, but when it's Fat's turn, everything falls apart. His bizarre performance wipes the smile off the emperor's face almost instantly. He rolls on the floor like a toddler, then presents one of his gadgets to the emperor, explaining how it works. Instead of training, Fat has been wasting time inventing ridiculous gadgets, like mouth-fired guns, helicopter blade fans, and magnets, none of which are useful. Hoping to redeem himself, he presents these inventions to the emperor. He even tests the gun on a palace messenger, Fat Yan, and it ends up blowing up his face. Fat shrugs it off, saying the gun still needs fine-tuning. The emperor is furious. If the post weren't hereditary, he'd have fired Fat immediately. Instead, he demotes him to various menial palace duties and orders him to pose as a gynecologist, a cover to still keep him as a palace official. Fat loses his honor and respect as he begins his new useless role. Still, that doesn't stop him from building more inventions. On the job, he uses some of his gadgets to make things easier. His medical practice is hilarious. He simply prescribes medicine to every patient, and half the time, they end up telling him how to treat their ailments after explaining their symptoms. One day, a woman visits, complaining of chest pain caused by her husband's cheating and abuse. She tries to seduce Fat. Flustered, Fat calls his wife Cotton and says the woman needs his help. Cotton tells him to assist her like a good, kind-hearted doctor he is. Fat removes his cloak, but the woman bolts out, embarrassed. Fat and Cotton burst into laughter. He tells her he's a loyal husband. Cotton jokes that if she hadn't been there, he would have succumbed. He laughs and admits she might be right, and soon they're playfully wrestling like kids. Cotton, a skilled martial artist, easily overpowers him. Impressed by her moves, Fat gives her one of his inventions, a camouflage hand to prevent her from cutting herself while chopping vegetables. She's touched and calls him a genius. Fat then shows her a cheeky new invention meant to spice things up in the bedroom. It has different speed settings for variety. Cotton laughs hysterically at his naughty creation, but when puts it in reverse, everything falls apart. Later, while excitedly testing out his kitchen inventions with Cotton, one of the emperor's guards visits, disguised as a woman. When he starts talking like a woman, Fat tells him that while he understands the need to dress like a woman, he doesn't need to talk like one. The guard drops the act and informs Fat that he's been summoned to the palace as the emperor has an important mission for him. Fat rushes over, only to be assigned to wash a pile of dishes alongside Fat Yan. While doing the dishes, Fat overhears the emperor and his advisor discussing a strange creature, an alien known as the Flying Fairy, that reportedly fell from the sky in the Com tribe. The Com emperor has invited doctors from across the land to a medical exposition to examine the alien. Although the emperor shows little interest, his advisor urges him to attend and see for himself. Suspicious, Fat whispers to Fat Yan that the Com tribe is always up to no good and this could be a trap. He wants to warn the emperor, but Fat Yan stops him, saying the emperor might get angry just hearing his voice. Just as Fat suspected, the medical exposition is a trap set by King Faceless of the Com tribe to assassinate China's medical personnel and leave the nation vulnerable before launching an attack. Driven by envy of China's beauty, power, and prosperity, they plan to eliminate its leaders and take over the empire. That night, Fat returns home exhausted and frustrated. He feels useless, demoted to menial work while others shine. His wife, Katin, reassures him that he's a brilliant inventor as far as she's concerned. But that's not enough for Fat. If she's the only one who sees his worth, what does it matter? The conversation soon turns to an argument. She threatens to leave and he tells her to leave if she wants. But instead, she gently asks if he wants noodles. The question melts his anger and he hugs her, moved by her quiet understanding. He apologizes. The next day, the emperor and his entourage head out for the exposition. But on the way, they're ambushed by assassins from the Com tribe. The royal guards fight fiercely, but the Com assassins, using the lightning-fast Qinggong technique, kill all 3 elite bodyguards. Meanwhile, Fat and Katin set off for the same event, unaware of what's happened. Fat suspects the Com tribe is planning something evil and wants to be there in case the emperor is in danger. Along the way, the couple enjoys a lighthearted food tour, hopping from restaurant to restaurant in blissful ignorance. When they arrive at the event grounds, festivities are in full swing. Fat and Katin are having a blast. Suddenly, the doctors are invited into the main event hall as they're about to start. Katin stays behind to shop while Fat heads inside. At the door, a guard asks for his invitation. Fat doesn't have one, but he insists he's a doctor. The guard lets him in, then mutters under his breath that Fat doesn't know he's walking to his death. Fat, however, doesn't hear him clearly. Inside, Fat tries to blend in. He scans the room for the emperor, but sees no sign of him. The alien is brought out for examination. Fat is chosen to determine its gender since he's a gynecologist. They hand him a scalpel, but Fat pulls out a butcher's knife instead and confesses he's not a doctor. He's actually a butcher. While everyone around the table is focused on the alien, Cam assassins silently begin killing the doctors in the background. Unaware of the slaughter behind them, the experts prepare to dissect the alien. But just before the knife strikes, the alien suddenly jumps up and screams. Hearing his voice, Fat realizes is the emperor. The assassins had knocked him unconscious, dressed him in an alien suit, and presented him as the alien for dissection. Fat is both surprised and excited to see the emperor alive. They're stunned when they turn and see the carnage. Most of the guests have already been slaughtered by assassins, and they're next. Just in time, Fat uses one of his magnetic inventions to pull the assassins' swords out of their hands. One of the surviving doctors, who turns out to be skilled in kung fu, grabs a weapon and fights back, swiftly cutting them down. Suddenly, the masked assassin who used the Qinggong technique to kill the emperor's guards appears. Fat, thinking quickly, beats and exposes his real identity. It's none other than the son of King Faceless of the Com tribe. Using his magnetic invention and sheer wit, Fat fights and defeats him in front of the emperor and the surviving doctors, who cheer him on. When they step outside, they find the courtyard littered with corpses and deserted. Fat calls out for his wife, fearing the worst. He urges the others to get back inside, sensing danger. Just then, King Faceless, his wife, and their warriors appear and attack him. Fat dashes back into the hall and unleashes his upgraded inventions, his helicopter blade fan and mouth-firing gun to strike back. He manages to wipe them out effortlessly. Among the bodies, Fat sees one wearing Katin's clothes and collapses in grief, thinking she's dead. But at that moment, Katin returns from her shopping trip with some other women and calls out excitedly to him, and he runs to her in relief. Completely unaware of the massacre that had just occurred, Katin asks Fat what happened. He casually tells her they had a barbecue and the people lying on the ground simply ate too much. When Katin notices the emperor still dressed in the alien costume, she and the other ladies crowd around him, analyzing his outfit. They tell him the outfit doesn't suit him, especially with his belly, unaware they're speaking to the emperor himself. Back at the palace, Fat is finally recognized for his courage and genius. The emperor publicly honors him, praising his inventions and bravery. As a reward, he gives Fat an enormous, precious pearl. Later at home, Fat appreciates his wife for her unwavering support. Despite everything they've been through, he gives her the pearl as a gift of appreciation. Overwhelmed, she bursts into tears, touched beyond words. The emperor reinstates Fat as his special bodyguard and right-hand man. He then assigns him a mission to investigate a potential new concubine, a beautiful prostitute named Cho, to determine if she's worthy. Fat questions why the emperor wants another concubine when he already has many. Just then, the current concubines run toward the emperor, answering his questions. Fat heads to the brothel without his wife Katine's knowledge. Disguised as a woman, he sneaks in to observe Cho up close. But when he finally meets her, he's instantly smitten by her beauty and charm. Shaken, he rushes home, but he can't get her out of his mind. Katine notices an unfamiliar fragrance on him. He pulls out a perfume from his cloak and gives it to her as a birthday gift, masking the truth. The next day, Fat returns to the brothel to find Cho and is surprised to see so many men competing for her attention. Among them, Fat stands out with his wit and wins her over. She chooses him first. To impress her further, he gives her the priceless pearl he once gifted his wife. Cho barely reacts. At Katine's birthday dinner with her family, she tells Cam that the perfume he gave her smells different from what she smelled on his clothes the other night. Fat brushes it off with a joke. When she says she can't find the pearl he gave her, he calmly tells her not to worry. She'll stumble on it eventually. But things take a turn when Katine's father casually mentions seeing Fat at the brothel. Katine confronts him, placing her ear on his chest to listen to his heartbeat. Fat tells them that he went there to treat a sick woman. She believes him. Then his heart suddenly starts racing. He quickly covers it up and joins in the laughter, relieved he hasn't been caught. But just then, Katine catches a whiff of that same fragrance again. And to Fat's horror, Cho boldly walks into the house like she owns it. Katine's suspicions are confirmed. She moves closer and confronts Cho, who confidently declares that she's here to claim her love. Fat. As the two women talk, Fat turns his back and stuffs his face with food, pretending nothing is happening. If only the ground would open and swallow him whole. The confrontation soon turns violent when Cho reveals the pearl. Katine demands it back, but Cho kicks her, sparking a fight with the entire family. To everyone's horror, Fat sides with her. He defends Cho against his wife and her family, then walks away with her, leaving Katine heartbroken. As they walk away, Katine asks Fat if he wants her to make him noodles, hoping to win him back. He pauses, takes the pearl from Cho, throws it at Katine, and turns his back on her. At the palace, Fat confesses to Cho that the emperor sent him to investigate her. She accuses him of betrayal, but Fat admits he couldn't help falling for her. When the emperor appears, Cho suddenly changes. She begins to cry, claiming Fat took advantage of her and betrayed the emperor. The emperor orders the guards to seize Fat, but to Cho's surprise, they grab her instead. It's revealed that Fat had already uncovered her true identity. Cho is actually King Faceless of the Com tribe in disguise. His mission was to infiltrate the palace, sow division, kidnap the emperor, and blackmail the kingdom into submission, paving the way for the Com tribe to take over China. It turns out that Fat has discovered Cho's true identity during their meeting and enlisted his family in a ruse to fool Faceless. The drama and the confrontation at Katine's birthday dinner earlier were all staged. Fat invites his wife and her parents to the stage, and the emperor praises their stellar performance, handing out acting awards as a reward. Suddenly, Faceless breaks free and transforms into his true form. A fierce battle erupts. Once again, Fat relies on his inventions and clever tricks to fight back. They manage to chain Faceless to a lightning rod, hoping to destroy him with a strike of lightning. But he cuts the chain just in time. Fat rushes to reconnect it, but the lightning hits him instead. Faceless kicks Katine to the ground. And as he's about to finish her off as revenge for Fat killing his wife, just then, Fat rises. He grabs a sword and, to everyone's astonishment, unleashes the flying fairy technique, finally defeating King Faceless. In the aftermath, the Emperor wonders why Fat hasn't reported to work, surprisingly admitting they can't do without him. Meanwhile, Fat and Katine are soaring through the sky with one of Fat's flying inventions, having the time of their life. Thanks so much for watching this recap. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Got a favorite movie you want recapped next? Drop it in the comments. I'm always checking your suggestions. See you in the next one.